Hey there, fellow gamers. This is Lock and Load coming at you with another Marvel Strike Force video. In this video, I'm going to be going over my Dark Dimension 2 team, the T4s I put into them, and the positioning in which I put them on the battlefield. The team I used was Star-Lord, Symbiote Spider-Man, Invisible Woman, Hela, and Minn-Erva. So let's start off with Star-Lord. The only T4 I put into him was his passive, and that was solely for the fact of generating 1 to 2 ability energy to an adjacent ally. It's only a 50% chance, but it's a 50% chance that that's 1 to 2 less turns in which I'm going to have to wait to use an ability for Minn-Erva, since I always made her the adjacent ally. The next character here is Symbiote Spider-Man. I put the T4s into his passive solely for the fact of getting that 20%, the added boost to that 20% to his max health. It that added 20% comes into effective when you apply a negative effect and he heals himself for 3% of the his max health, so that 3% is increased slightly for his healing ability when a negative effect goes down. You get a lot of bleeds going with this team. Defense downs from the undead Asgardians. So that 3% comes in effective since he's the tanky character on this team. I did the T4 on his basic ability just solely for the fact of that added 20% of attack to both primary and secondary targets, and applying defense down for 2 turns of that secondary target as well as the primary. The next character is Invisible Woman. I put T4s into her special ability solely for the fact of at level 6, it applies offense down for 2 turns to 3 random enemies. Where at level 7, it applies offense down for 2 turns to all enemies. When you have 6 to 10 enemies on the field, this is huge. So you're taking less damage from everybody instead of less damage from only 3 characters, 3 enemies. The Bending Light ability I find most important of her abilities, her attacks that need T4s. So at level 5, it clears 2 negative effects from 3 of the most injured allies. Where at level 7, it clears 2 negative effects from all allies. So you don't have to worry about, oh man, Symbiote Spider-Man isn't one of my most injured, but he's got ability block. With that ability, it's going to clear it from all allies. With Hela, the Goddess of Death is not needed. It is solely there. This T4 was solely for the Asgardians team and ward defense. No other reason why. The Death Knives is the T4 that is absolutely needed on her solely for the fact of at level 5, it clears 2 negative effects. It spreads 2 negative effects from the primary target to all secondary targets. Where at level 7, it spreads 4 negative effects. So that's 2 additional bleeds, or it could be ability block or a blind or something else. If there's more than 4 negative effects, it chooses 4 negative effects to spread. Minn-Erva needs no T4s. She is a kit-based character. She's solely there for the heals, and that's pretty much it. The one T4 in which I might put into her, it's not necessary. 5% to fill the speed bar would be nice, but how often the undead Asgardian dies, your speed bar gets filled up pretty quick. So on death of any allies, it fills her speed bar. On death of enemies, she heals one of your allies on the field. So she is an extremely important character for, I don't care if it's Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 4, Dark Dimension 68. she's probably going to be needed. Let's launch this really quick. So I have Symbiote Spider-Man right in the middle, solely because he's the tanky character. Then I have to his right, I have Invisible Woman because she has a high dodge chance, and she goes under stealth quite frequently because she's Invisible Woman. I used to have Hela here for the first time I went through Dark Dimension 2, the first 2 nodes. I found with chain attacks, she was dying quite frequently, so Minn-Erva was having to use her heal, her revive to bring her back to life. To the left of Symbiote Spider-Man, of course, you have Minn-Erva, and you have Star-Lord in the front, so he only feeds energy back to Minn-Erva. Let's get this fight going. Scope Lee / Fox Nex, however you want to refer to them as, they did an amazing job on the graphics in this game. It is predominantly evident on the care they give on this game, especially when you run the game at 1x. You can see the detail in which you can see the detail in the characters, the detail in the attacks. You can see the detail in everything. Just like the graffiti in the wall here from behind Negasonic. The garbage in the garbage can. The little details in which they went to the extremes so you would notice everything. I will highly recommend running all Dark Dimension 2 battles at 3x, because if you run them at 1x, they're going to take an hour. As is, they already take 10 to 20 minutes. So this undead Asgardian is in the worst possible spot. He's between Minn-Erva and Star-Lord, so there's a 50-50 chance when Star-Lord goes off to feed the ability energy, it can go to that undead Asgardian instead of Minn-Erva. There's nothing you can do because it's all random on where Hela spawns her undead. Right there. 2 energy went to the undead Asgardian instead of being able to go back to Minn-Erva. So because the undead Asgardian is here, you want to wait to use this ability energy to grant the 2 ability energy until he's not there. Of which he's going to be dead on the next turn because he just got fed 2 energy, so his special ability to explode himself is about to go off. You seen that little double tap there from Minn-Erva? I have the skirmisher tag on, or is it striker? I don't remember right now which one I have on Star-Lord. So he gets that secondary attack to apply vulnerable to a character. He, on a technicality, Drax does have 4 negative effects, even though it's 1 bleed, 2 defense downs, and a heal block. So you can spread them just solely because you cannot get to any of the other characters because he's taunting over here and you're not able to touch anybody. After the Drax is gone, the one person you really need to make sure you get rid of is Doctor Strange, because you don't want him to revive your the Drax and now he's taunting again and you can't attack anybody. So since there's heal blocks across the board, so whenever someone dies, no one's going to get health from Minn-Erva. There's a couple bleeds on Hela, defense down on pretty much everybody. We can do the bending light ability and clear those negative effects. There's still a couple there on Hela because she had so many negative effects. It was only clearing 2 from her. So that undead Asgardian died and he moved away from Minn-Erva, so that's beneficial for us. We're gonna steal some health, revive everyone's health back to full because there's so many enemies here. You could be in the red on your health and it's gonna bring it all the way back to full health. That health pull that she can do is such an amazing job. Hopefully this answered everyone's questions. If you have any other questions, just leave a like or a comment in this video and I'll answer it. Till next time, thanks.